Yeah.
Lynette, you take me back a little bit to some of the early days. What inspired you to get into some of the things you do, like your food show? You're also a radio host as well, and the amazing things that you do through your entrepreneurial background.
Yeah, when I was a kid growing up, my mom always said you have to try everything because you don't know what you don't want. So like she made us
Come
try
on,
every sport, even and then we found out if we weren't good at it, then we didn't do it. She made us if we played band to see if we were musically inclined. None of us were. I have four brothers. Um, she made us try all the different instruments just to see, because you never know, right? If you don't
that's
try it,
right.
you don't know if you're good at it. So I really commend her. Hats off to her for that. And by the time I was in high school, I had that attitude or mentality that I wanted to try everything. And I was a huge radio fan. Like growing up on Lanai, there was 30 in my class, and I was trying to work to get a scholarship to play volleyball. And that's how I got off the island. And we grew up very poor. We grew up on welfare. There's four boys, and just my mother raised all of us. Didn't have a father. So when you get into that sense, or when you're into that type of environment, you really start dreaming a lot. You
Come
start,
on,
man, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. And my mom always said, you don't have to wish for it, just go try and do it.
that's
If the
right.
worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to fail, but failure is okay because it's a lesson. So I always took that to heart. So when I moved to Honolulu on this volleyball scholarship, a good friend of mine was a famous DJ, and I would always tell him one day I would like to try to be a DJ, and I did. I started doing it, and after 1 year, I got good at it, and I didn't show up to school. And my mom was pissed. She's like, "Hey, you got this free ride to school," and I said, "Mom, I'm going to school for communications. I got the dream job already." She
That's
was
right.
mad. She was mad for a couple of years, but she also knew that if there was something that I wanted to try or do, she would never hold me back from it. So
Yeah,
she found the balance anyway. So I became a DJ at 16. By the time I was 18, 19, I had the number one show with a couple of other guys, and we created a parody group, and we started singing and rapping, and it was all parody music, and my career really blew up then because I started interviewing all these big celebrities from Mariah Carey to Eazy-E, Boys to Men. I got the opportunity to interview some big celebrities in my time. And at the same time, I dabbled in television. I was doing TV commercials and some TV shows. And that's how the TV part came to play. When you get a certain age, you can go to auditions and you can go do stand-up comedy whenever you want. But then you get into relationships and then you have kids, the playing field changes. So
absolutely.
I wasn't going to as many auditions as I wanted to, and I noticed that I started not getting as many gigs that I wish I had. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own shows. So I started creating my own shows. I did a show for Fox called In Tune, and I was hosting that show for a couple of years, and then it led to another show, and it led to another show, and then when I met Bourdain, we were sitting down one night and I was telling him some history about Hawaii, and he said, you got to share those stories.
Yeah,
It's important that you share those stories because other people are going to start sharing those stories, and they're your stories, so you need to tell your story. And
that's right.
it really hit me. So I was a huge fan of cooking, and I loved cooking because I had to cook for my brothers at a young age. I started when I was 12. My mom had four jobs, so she said, "Hey, you got to cook dinner for your brothers." So my four brothers became really good cooks as well. My third brother became an amazing chef. He worked for Steve Jobs, Charles Barkley, and all these big names. And it was kind of a silent, private thing that I liked to do, and it was to cook. Then the Food Network came along, and the Great Food Truck Race opportunity popped up, and we won. At that same
Wow.
time, my cooking show became available. In a sense of, I had these two partners, and they were like, "Hey, we want to do this thing," and you would host it. So that fell into play, and then Bourdain fell into play. So everything started being based around food and cooking, and then I started doing things for CNN in Asia and the Philippines, and then it just snowballed from there, and here I am today, 22 seasons later with Cooking Hawaiian Style, which by the way airs in Canada.
Oh,
And then I started a travel show because I took a film crew with me on my travel club. And they're like, hey, you should create a TV show around this. So we're in our third season of the travel show now, which is based around food.
I love it.